He turned his attention in the direction Hitomi was looking. The man with the cane was bearing down on him.
Oh, come on. You have to be kidding me.
He grabbed Hitomi's hand and ran. This time, he headed for the main road, hoping to get lost in the crowd. Hitomi struggled to keep up. She was exhausted after all their earlier running.
You can do it.
He told her.
The guy's got a cane. We can outrun him.
The assassin was still hurrying after them.
Once we get around to the next corner, we'll be out on the main road.
Yeah, okay.
She strained to get the words out. Bit by bit, her feet were slowing down. It was another 50 meters or so to the main road. Achi realized that they might get caught before they got there.
Sorry, Hitomi,
He exclaimed.
but I gotta do this.
He scooped her up in his arms. By the time the squeak had escaped her mouth, Achi was already running full out.
Achi. Please put me down.
Don't worry, you're super light.
Achi glanced back and saw the assassin, now far behind, break off his pursuit. But just as they rounded the corner, he heard the man call out to him. Achi almost stopped on reflex.
Hold on. Did he just shout my name? How the heck does he know my name?
Quaking with unease, Achi slipped into the crowd.
Achi, could you please set me down now?
A meek voice pulled him from his panic.
Huh?
He looked down at the girl in his arms. People in the crowd all around them were watching and chuckling.
I mean, I'm really happy you saved me and all. But being carried around like this is,
Hitomi was blushing beet red. But Achi's expression had gone pale. Had he really heard that right? That's what it had sounded like. He set Hitomi back on her feet, then used his shirt sleeve to wipe the sweat from his face.
you okay?
Hitomi asked.
When we were running just now, did that guy say anything?
Not that I heard, no.
Huh. Had he just imagined it then? Maybe. Achi was sure he didn't recognize the man.
There's something weird about that guy, though.
Hitomi murmured. She furrowed her brow.
No matter where we run, he keeps catching up to us. It's almost like he knows where we're going.
She was right. finding a particular pair of people in a place as big as Shibuya bordered on the impossible. And yet, somehow, the assassin had tracked them down several times now.
Yeah.
Achi said.
It's like he's got some way of locating us or something.
He got a sudden idea.
That's it. What if they're doing this whole tracking thing, but like backwards?
What?
Hitomi's eyes widened.
Okay, so you know how police shows they always stick a tracking device in a bag with some ransom money? Like that, but backwards.
Backwards?
Yeah, like instead of putting the tracker on the money, they put it on you.
Hitomi frowned.
I don't see how I could possibly have a tracker on me.
She said.
I mean, I'm just wearing my clothes from home.
Oh, what the hell is he doing? Then.
Barely a moment passed from the moment he got the words out of his mouth. Once again, the man with the cane stepped out on the road ahead of them. It really did seem as if he'd known exactly where they were going to be.
How the hell does this keep happening?
Achi groaned. He reached for Hitomi's waist, ready to pick her up again.
It's okay. I can run by myself.
Achi took her by the hand instead, and they raced into another alley.
This guy would just not give up.
At the far end of the alley, he could see a forklift parked beside a pile of cardboard boxes. Achi decided to
Throw the boxes.
Achi snatched up the nearest box, turned and threw it at the man with the cane. The box was filled with something heavy.
This ought to do some damage.
He watched with satisfaction as it struck the assassin in the face and the man staggered sideways.
Here, have another one.
One by one, Achi hurled every box in the pile.
And one for the road.
The last box wasn't properly sealed, and it broke open as it struck their pursuer, sending several bottles flying. They shattered as they crashed on the street, splashing red liquid. The assassin dropped to one knee, scrubbing at his face with his hand. Achi looked on in surprise. He couldn't possibly have hit the guy that hard. Peering at the man more closely, he saw that he was spattered in red liquid. Apparently, the stuff in the bottles had gotten in his eyes.
Now's our chance.
Achi took off with Hitomi, leaving their pursuer kneeling in the alley. Their ragged breathing echoed through the maze of side streets. All that work just to wind up fleeing for their lives again. Achi ground his teeth in frustration. Minorikawa took a look at his wristwatch and gritted his teeth.
Damn, is it that late already?
He needed to head for the sales demo. Surveillance camera article wasn't done, but he'd just have to leave it where it was for now. As he was slipping his laptop back into his bag, his cell phone rang. Looked at the screen and saw Chiaki's name listed as the incoming caller. Was she done with her interviews? Hurriedly, he picked up.
Chiaki, how's it going?
Several wet sniffles came through the receiver.
Hey, are you crying?
It's no use.
Chiaki's voice was, indeed, punctuated by sobs.
People won't stop to talk no matter how hard I try.
Oh, come on! This again? Really?
I can't do it. Don't worry about paying me. Just please let me go home.
Minorikawa was already operating on a too tight schedule. He didn't have the time to worry about Chiaki on top of it all.
Look, just slow down and take a breath. Try and keep it up a little longer.
He should have seen this coming when he first called her. Her shyness was practically pathological. But if he cut her loose now, all this frustration would be for nothing.
But I can't do it.
Chiaki whined again.
Please just forget you ever called me. Oh no, that's probably her.
Please. Just forget you ever called me.
He hung up before Minorikawa could get another word in. He tried calling her back, but she didn't pick up.
Damn it, Chiaki. Don't you dare bail on me.
Leaving money for his coffee on the table, Minorikawa jumped up and bolted from the cafe. The plaza outside Shibuya Station was as crowded as ever. Minorikawa looked around, but there was no sign of Chiaki.
Bailed.
Minorikawa dropped to his knees in despair. His last hope had up and left. There was no one else he could even ask.
Damn it! Alright then. Fine! I'll do it myself.
He dragged himself back to his feet.
Alright, listen up!
He shouted at the passing crowd.
I'm doing street interviews here, starting now! You guys! Shut up and help me! I mean, don't shut up, but help me!
He wound up blowing way too much time just to get 2 pages worth of content, leaving himself unable to finish the other articles. In the end, the issue of 4-star General Gossip never made it to the newsstands, and Heaven Publishing went down for the count.
We did this before. There you go.
The plaza outside Shibuya Station was as crowded as ever. Minorikawa looked around and soon spotted Chiaki.
Hey, what are you doing?
He asked. She was hunkered down in front of the statue of Hachiko, squatting in an odd position. A group of kindergartners was gathered nearby, peering at her with sadness in their eyes like she was a stray dog or something.
What's this all about?
Minorikawa asked.
This is how I end up when I lose all my self-confidence. I just want to hide.
Oh, for crying out loud, get up, will you?
I don't wanna.
Stop crying.
Chiaki sniffled and wiped at her eyes.
Let me ask you this.
Minorikawa stared down at her.
What was it that made you want to be a freelance writer?
Well, I guess 'cause I wanted to try my hand at writing.
A dangling bit of mucus bobbed in and out of Chiaki's left nostril as she spoke.
Okay,
Minorikawa followed.
and why's that?
Well, uh, uh, I'm too embarrassed to say.
Chiaki hid her face in her hands.
Okay, never mind that then. Right now, you have a task that's been handed to you. Can't just say you can't do it.
Minorikawa tried to keep his tone calm.
No magazine in the world's gonna let a novice writer just write about whatever they want. You have to prove yourself first. Get your fundamentals down.
I already know all that?
Minorikawa took the notebook from Chiaki's hands.
Hey!
She squeaked.
Wait!
Wait,
You've only
you've only talked to one person so far?
There sure wasn't going to be a story in that.
Yeah? Well, not a person exactly.
Hmm? Wait, what's this here? A cat?
No! I mean, yes, there was a person in a cat costume.
What should I do? Where could the truck that took the burning hammer possibly have gone? I'm standing there racking my brain when I hear a voice call out from behind me.
Jules, go for it.
Excuse me. Are you, happy? With your life right now?
I turn to see a woman holding a notebook. Huh?
I mean, just... sorry! Do you mind if I ask you a couple questions?
I do not have time for this right now. I'm more than a little busy. Oh, no. I mean, Never mind, listen to me.
Oh, no, I mean, I understand if you can't.
She's giving me this hyper-intensive stare. I can't tell if she's trying to be intimidating or if she's actually afraid of me. Something about her is definitely off. Way too jittery and suspicious for my liking. Whatever she wants, I'd rather not get involved. I'm actually pretty busy, I say.
But... I mean... just real quick... It'd be a huge help. Please?
But
Please?
I really...
Please?
She bows so many times she looks like one of those drinking birds. I guess I can't help but feel bad. I can't help but feel bad for this poor girl. I guess I can give her at least a few moments of my time. Alright, but please make it quick.
Oh! Thank you. Thank you so much.
She goes back into drinking bird mode. So, what was the question?
Oh, right. So, are you, happy with your life right now?
Well, right now, as you can see, I am a cat.
Oh, a cat. Uh, yes, I see. I see. A cat. So, yeah, I'll put down cats.
She just writes the word cat in her notebook.
Right, thank you.
Huh? Are we finished already?
Yes. Yes, we can finish right there.
She hangs her head a little and looks away. Well, that sure was quick. I'm not sure I get what it was all about. Did I really give her enough to be useful? I doubt it, but hey, at least it was over fast. I head off in search of the burning hammer once more. No matter where I wander, though, I don't spot the truck anywhere. Now there's only 15 minutes before the demo's supposed to start. I'd better make my way back to the venue. Maybe Chiri had better luck in her search? Huh. Back at the break room, I'm met by Mr. Yanagishita, who positively radiates despair.
Did you find it?
I'm sorry. I tried. Yanagishita's shoulders slump further at my response. Have you heard from Chiri? I ask.
Nothing yet. I guess she's our last hope.
All of a sudden, Mr. Yanagishita holds up a pendant.
The situation's rough. I'd like you to wear this.
It's a miracle stone like the one I saw back in the storeroom earlier.
This ought to kick up your luck a notch.
Now I see that Yanagishita is wearing another miracle stone around his neck. Using one bit of sham merchandise to help find another. Nice. This is the pinnacle of pitiful. That's what this is.
Hurry up! Put it on! Before the luck runs out!
Mr. Yanagishita's eyes are all bloodshot. Something tells me that refusing his request wouldn't be wise right now. After a moment's hesitation, I take hold of the pendant. The stone is blue and glittery.
Is that Chiri?
Mr. Yanagishita squeaks. He whips out his phone.
Ah, no. Sorry.
He mutters after listening for a moment.
I think you have the wrong number.
Guess it isn't Cherry after all.
Okay. Okay.
And yet he stays on the line.
Huh? Really?
His tone suddenly does a complete 180.
Yes, please. Thank you so much.
As soon as he hangs up, Yanagishita strikes a victory pose.
Miracle! Burning Hammer is back, baby!
Hmm?
The recycling guy realized his mix-up and returned the boxes to the loading dock.
Whoa, for real?
You girls did great. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart.
I've never seen someone come so close to literally jumping for joy.
I'm going to go prep the demo room. Tama, you bring the burning hammer inside.
With that, Mr. Yanagishita practically flies out of the room. No way, I murmur to myself. This thing didn't actually work, did it? I examine the miracle stone more closely. It just looks like some kind of toy jewelry. I wish that I actually get paid my 20,000 yen. Hey, it's worth a shot. With the miracle stone still clutched in my hand, I hurry out to the loading dock. I brace myself before actually stepping out the door. It's there! It's really there! The cardboard boxes are scattered all around outside. Wait, scattered all around? What happened to them? I suddenly have a very bad feeling about this. Apprehension gnaws at me as I open up one of the boxes. No! I shriek, and my vision dims. The box is full of bottles of burning hammer, all of them smashed to pieces.
We haven't done this yet, have we?
No, we haven't. No, this looks all new.
Just making sure.
I haven't seen this yet.
Okay, so. Sorry. Whatever. Oh, that's you.
Yeah. Sorry, whatever for?
I keep saying how I'm going to help you, but instead I just keep putting you in danger.
Achi, no. If you hadn't been with me, I'm sure I'd already be dead.
No.
Achi hurried to cut her off before she could finish.
Don't go there, please.
He sighed and spoke again more quietly.
I want to help you.
Clenching a fist, he looked up at the sky. Tiny sliver of blue was visible through the narrow gap between the buildings. Hitomi hung her head.
Honestly, I can hardly believe how much you've done for me. I do appreciate it, but still. The lengths you've gone to...
Achi looked at his feet, then drew himself up.
Well, I admit it's not just because of some gut instinct or your love for the environment.
He said.
There's another reason I'm doing this.
There is?
Achi paused, searching for the right words.
I've got a little sister. Her name is Susune. She's cute and smart. Kinda the exact opposite of me, you know?
His voice took on an uncharacteristic solemnity.
But she's got a weak heart. So she's in the hospital.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. But what does that have to do with wanting to help me?
Back when Susune was first admitted, I go and visit her every day. But she...
Jules,
Achi, you don't need to come visit me every day, you know.
The quiet hospital room made Suzune's voice sound all the more frail.
What are you talking about?
Achi said.
You know I'm worried about you.
I'll be fine on my own. Really.
Achi had heard that line before. The more she insisted she was fine, though, the more reluctant he was to leave her.
Besides, aren't you the amazing guy who helps hold Shibuya together? They need you out there.
Achi didn't know how to respond to that. Much as it was flattering to think he played some important role, he was really just hanging out and goofing off with his pals. It certainly wasn't anything for his sister to be proud of.
I'd rather you spent your energy helping people who need it more than me.
What do you mean? People who need more help? Who could possibly need more help right... Who could possibly need help right more... Who could possibly need help right now more than you?
Achi scratched his head in confusion, and his sister gave him a weak, tiny smile.
You'll figure it out.
She said.
I'm sure they'll find you soon enough.
But I'm gonna be here with you.
I'll be fine.
Suzune's face was pale, but her tone was firm.
My big brother is gonna be out there doing his best to help people. That's what makes me happy.
Her voice was clear and unwavering, as if to head off his rebuttal.
Alright.
Achi said with a reluctant sigh.
So then, I guess, like, I'll just go out there and help some people who are in trouble?
Satisfied, Susune smiled.
Thank you. And can you promise me one more thing?
Of course. Anything you like.
He thumped himself on the chest.
If you're going to help someone, make sure you see it all the way through to the end. Okay?
Okay.
calling it quits partway through. Yeah?
Got it.
I just worry.
Susune said.
I know you have a tendency to lose interest in things.
Look, don't sweat it. I swear I won't give up on this.
Achi stuck out his pinky finger.
But I want you to promise me something in return. Promise me you won't let this thing beat you.
Susune hooked her little finger around her brother's, her sad smile fragile as glass.
So there you have it.
Achi said.
Kind of a weird story. But no, not very funny.
Kyle,
So, your sister's heart condition, it's pretty bad?
Achi nodded.
You know, you call me amazing. There's nothing amazing about it. Susune, she's the amazing one. She's been in the hospital for so long, in so much pain, but she never complains. All I do is hang out and goof off with my friends.
He gave a shrug.
I just keep thinking about how happy she'd be if I really did help people.
It had turned out that finding people in need hadn't been all that simple. The only helpful thing Achi had been able to think of was going around picking up trash.
And that's why Suzune's idiot brother left SOS to be Shibuya's garbage man.
Did your friends know
Hitomi asked.
about your sister?
I didn't tell him. I don't want to pin this all on her being sick.
Ah, I see.
At least now Hitomi understood what the fight with the local toughs had been about. The sound of approaching footsteps jerked them back into the present. The man with the cane appeared at the end of the alley. He raised his gun. There was no time to flee. Achi quickly stepped in front of Hitomi.
If you shoot us here, people are going to come running.
He said.
I'm guessing you don't want to be pegged for murder.
The assassin didn't flinch.
Nolan.
Stay out of my way, Achi.
This time, there was no doubt. The gunman had spoken Achi's name loud and clear.
How do you know who I am?
The man stared at him through the sights of his gun.
She has to die, Achi. It's for your own good.
What? What does he mean?
Hitomi whispered.
Achi, what is he talking about?
Achi's mind was a whirl. Things were coming at him too fast for him to process.
I don't even know this guy. Hitomi, please, you have to believe me.
But
Hitomi took a doubtful step away from Achi. The assassin didn't miss his opening. Quickly aimed at her.
Cut the crap, man. What do you mean killing her is for my own good?
Once she's dead, you'll understand.
Gunman's finger tightened on the trigger.
Is here a cat?
I thought since I couldn't see their face, it'd be easier to ask them stuff.
Fine, whatever. Now get back out there and get me some more.
Minorikawa steered Chiaki toward the passing crowd.
What now?
Yes, now! We've got no time to waste. I'll even stand by and watch for a minute. Now enough with the excuses and get out there!
Minorikawa looked on as Chiaki wandered through the crowd. Her anxious demeanor seemed to repel everyone around her. On the rare chance she did manage to flag someone down, the way she stammered through her initial questions made them take right off again. After a minute or two, she'd shuffle her way back, shoulders slumped.
See? It's hopeless.
Okay, some advice? First off, you aren't approaching the right people. Some people are in a rush, you know? You're not going to have much luck trying to flag down a businessman who's visibly in a hurry. Now, folks who are waiting on someone, couples, groups, they're going to be less on their guard.
Oh, yes. But, I mean, if I do manage to nab someone, how do I keep the conversation going?
Chiaki asked. That was indeed the tricky part.
Whenever I get an answer, I'm not...
Whenever I get an answer I'm not expecting, I get all flustered.
Chiaki, have you ever played tennis?
Tennis? Yeah. I was in my school's tennis club.
He struck Minorikawa as being more the manga club type, but that was neither here nor there.
Okay, that'll make this simpler. What's more fun? Rallying with an opponent or hitting the ball off of a wall?
Rallying with someone else, of course.
Minorikawa gave a hearty nod.
And why is that?
because when you hit the ball off of a wall, you already know where it's going to come back to.
Revelation dawned on Chiaki's face.
Oh,
The same with interviews.
Minorikawa said.
Don't get flustered. Enjoy the rally.
but I don't think I'm composed enough to enjoy it.
Don't overthink things. Just let yourself enjoy the small talk.
Small talk? Oh, I'm sure I'm not any good at that. Oh,
She was starting to waffle again.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Minorikawa asked. Minorikawa said, taking a step closer.
Are you happy with your life right now?
I'm not happy with my life right now, no.
Chiaki muttered. She hung her head in dismay.
Okay, so start with that.
Minorikawa said.
Huh?
Chiaki blinked a few times as she lifted her head back up.
I'm not happy with my life right now. But what about you? Like that.
Oh? Okay.
A sliver of liveliness had crept back into Chiaki's voice. Minorikawa jabbed his finger right in her face.
Right there.
He said.
Put on that face when you flag people down.
Chiaki's smile widened.
I'll give it a shot. Thank you so much.
Sure thing. Good luck.
Chiaki strode enthusiastically into the crowd and tried to flag down a Westerner who was walking hurriedly past her.
She even listened to a word I said.
Minorikawa felt his short-lived triumph melt away.
Am I just going to have to teach her everything again from scratch?
Then he paused in surprise.
Hold on. Okay, good. Whoa.
Chiaki had snatched the man by the arm in an attempt to get him to stop. To Minorikawa's amazement, the gambit worked. Before long, it looked like the two were engaged in some kind of animated conversation. Maybe she would get an interview out of this after all. Heck, the look on her face was actually somewhat confident. Sometimes people could surprise you once you got past their surface issues. Now, Minorikawa could head to the Burning Hammer sales demo with a little more peace of mind.
Speaking of which... Crap! What time is it?
In a panic, Minorikawa checked his wristwatch.
Wait, what? Sorry, go... That tooltip? I'll tell you what you think about the opposite sex and whatnot? What?
Think about this wristwatch. The demo was set to start in less than 5 minutes.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. He really was cutting it close. Minorikawa sprinted through the intersection, heading for Center Guy. Osawa fled the room. He needed to be alone, if only for a few moments. But even if he could somehow shake Kajiwara, the other detectives had eyes all over his house. He had reached the limits of his patience. Couldn't even think straight anymore. He headed for the back door, trying to avoid the police. Opening the door quietly, he slipped across the yard and out through the back fence. He didn't want to venture too far from the house. He found a tiny alley and took cover there, thankful for a few moments to himself at last. He hadn't been there long when he caught sight of a man and a young girl, a father and his daughter, running past on the main road. It looked as if they were running from something. I think we already did this part.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, maybe not this part.
Oh, okay.
As he looked around, wild-eyed, he spotted Osawa watching him from the alleyway.
Help!
The man called out.
Help me! Please! If these guys catch me, Oh.
The father's eyes went wide when he got a look at Osawa's face.
You're...
Huh? Osawa thought he recognized this fugitive too, though he couldn't remember from where.
There were some real nasty guys after us.
The man said.
I know I have no right to ask you this, but please, at least help me keep my daughter safe.
Probably you should go to the police if...
No! They won't be able to help me with this. Please, I'm begging you. Help me!
I'm sorry, but...
Please, if not me, then at least help my daughter.
The man pleaded. Osawa looked down at the girl. Unlike her father, she was calm and reserved. She reminded him of Maria, just a little. B. Osawa couldn't just stand idly by. He decided to help them evade their pursuers. All right, follow me.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
He led the two back to his house and into the storage shed out back. You can lay low here for a while if you like, he said. The shed was fairly large, and there was plenty of space for the man and his daughter.
I'm so sorry.
The man said.
I'm not sure how I can possibly thank you.
Don't worry. Osawa closed the shed door and headed back out to take a look around. Two thuggish-looking men came running up to him. No doubt, these were the people the father and daughter were running from.
frank I gave you this character last time.
You there, said the one guy in the sunglasses. You see a guy and his daughter around here? They should have come by this way. And there was a hint of menace in his voice. A man and his daughter? Ah, yes. I think I saw them run through here. Which way'd they go? That way. Sweet! We almost got him. The pair sped away. Osawa waited until they were fully out of sight, and then called out to the shed. All right, they're gone. The door stayed closed, however.
I'm really sorry.
The man called back from inside.
Those guys might come back this way. Is it okay if we hide out here a little while longer?
He sounded desperate. Pitiful, really. Sure, go ahead, Osawa said. With that, he headed back inside. Evidently, he just wasn't going to get any time alone today, no matter where he went. Osawa groaned inwardly when he got back to his study. You're still here?
Yes, sir. I was told to keep my eyes on you after all.
Believe me, it shows.
Mr. Osawa, if you're going to go outside, I'd appreciate it if you let me know first.
What? Had Kajiwara realized he'd snuck out of the house?
But more importantly...
Kajiwara reached back into his suit pocket.
I've been meaning to give this to you.
He held out a small plastic bag. Inside was a scrap of paper of some sort. What's that? Osawa asked.
This is what was clogging the toilet, sir.
With some hesitation, Osawa took hold of the bag. Huh? That's...
We did this last time.
Okay.
Go ahead.
He knocked on the door to Ai's room, but there was no response. Didn't look like she'd gotten back home yet. Osawa let himself in. The stinging scent of her perfume pervaded the room, which was decorated in all white. Clothes were strewn about as if to put her swaddlingness on display. She'd been like this ever since they had gotten married, and Osawa had long since stopped caring. Must have been I who tried to flush the ticket.
Wait,
He knew she didn't want him going to him. Are we skipping it?
Yeah, we did this already.
All right.
Is this new?
Yeah, this part's
Okay.
The book was filled with articles and write-ups about the results of Osawa's research and the company's various achievements. Flipping through the pages took him on a trip down memory lane. There was even an old company memo welcoming Tanaka on board as his new vice director. There was a photo of Osawa shaking Tanaka's hand at the party, celebrating his new position. was a little peculiar to think that she had bothered to keep something so trivial. A series of magazine articles was nestled between the pages further into the book. These hadn't been clipped out for inclusion in the scrapbook itself. Osawa glanced through them. Floundering Okoshi Pharmaceutical arranges marriage of political convenience. It was a self-indulgent piece from some rag called 4-Star General Gossip, from right after he and I had gotten married. When the piece had first run, he'd been too furious to read it. Now he gave it a quick looking over. It was pretty much exactly what he'd expected. It talked about how one of the corporate directors had sacrificed his own daughter in order to keep one of his researchers on board. Referring, of course, to Makino offering Osawa Ai's hand in marriage. Rumors abound of marital strife between the newlyweds. The article went on to talk about how Ai had been dating another man before she and Osawa had gotten married. The whole thing was a bunch of puerile rubbish. Any marriage involves some kind of calculated self-interest after all. Whatever the reasons for their union, nothing changed the fact that Ai was now his wife. With a faint sigh, Osawa put the scrapbook back on the shelf. Feeling disconsolate, he returned to his study and began flipping through his CD rack. His eyes scanned for Aya Kamiki's album, For Tomorrow, Forevermore. A lot of her more experimental numbers were on that album. Given how discombobulated he felt right now, this was what he needed to hear. Again, Osawa reflected on how there'd been a time when he didn't care about music at all. He'd simply purchased copies of the most popular CD of the moment as birthday presents for his 2 girls. And that he just happened to be an album by Aya Kamiki. Hitomi was thrilled by the gift, but Maria hadn't seemed terribly fond of it. The next day, she tossed her copy back on her father's desk, figuring that throwing it away would be a waste. Osawa had stuck the CD into his computer to give it a listen. He was immediately bombarded by an intense beat, bolstered by bold, uplifting vocals. Aya Kamiki wrote her own lyrics, which did a fine job of conveying the emotions of a teenage girl. Osawa could hardly believe it. After listening to just one track, he was well and truly hooked. Before the day was out, he had purchased her entire discography. Huh? He muttered. For Tomorrow should have been in the CD rack, but there was no sign of it. Where the heck is it? Why isn't it here? For a moment, he wondered if he was going crazy, and then he remembered. It was at the lab. He'd wanted something to listen to on break at work, so he'd brought the album there. Damn it. Damn it, damn it, damn it. Not being able to listen to it made him want to hear it all the more. It wasn't like he could just go out and buy another copy right now either. He'd just have to borrow the copy he'd given to Hitomi all those years ago. Unable to contain his need to hear that music, he went into Hitomi's room. There, he quickly rummaged through the CD rack beside his daughter's bed. Part of him felt like he was being a little sneak thief. According to the email Tanaka had shown him, someone was trying to kill Hitomi. Under the circumstances, he knew what he was doing was ridiculous, and yet he still couldn't resist the impulse to find this CD. But his efforts were to no avail. There were no Aya Kamiki CDs in the rack at all. Osawa pulled out every CD on the rack, but they were all classical music. Slumped back in disappointment. It had to be somewhere here in her room. Osawa jumped at the sound of his cell and fumbled to get it out of his pocket. Makino's name was displayed on the LCD screen.
I'm out front.
That was all Makino said before hanging up. Hurriedly, Osawa began tidying up the CD rack. As he worked, he thought about what he was going to say to Makino. I think that someone had violated corporate policy to such unethical ends. It sullied his research. Osawa wasn't about to let anyone get away with it. And yet, as he was about to leave Hitomi's room, a sudden uncertainty gripped him. He hesitated. Did he have any right to condemn Makino for running trials in secret? His hand began to sweat as it gripped the doorknob. No, he didn't. How could he? His hands were dirty in all this, too. We need to keep this a secret, just between us. It'll be fine. We already cleared animal testing. The memories hovered. Osawa himself had already administered the antiviral to someone, hadn't he? It was the only way. Muttering to nobody in particular, Osawa trudged toward the front door of his house. The two detectives took up position on the opposite sides of the plaza. Kano called up Sasayama on his cell phone.
You ready?
He asked.
Just give the word.
There were only 2 non-Japanese people in the nearby crowd. Both were eyeing their surroundings anxiously. Kano was certain the handoff was about to take place. And sure enough, the second man approached the one holding the attaché case. After exchanging a scant handful of words, he took the case and walked off.
Sasayama? I'll
I'll handle the guy with... Oh.
I think it's you. Yeah, go ahead.
I'll handle the guy with the case.
Got it.
Sasayama broke into a run, chasing after the man who'd taken the ransom. Kano hung up his phone and rushed to close the distance with the other man.
You there! Stop where you are!
Suspect turned, and Kano recognized his face. He was indeed a member of the foreign crime syndicate that operated in Shibuya.
Is hostage safe?
Kano demanded. The man's only response was an unsettling grin.
Answer me!
But though he repeated the question, the man remained silent. Kano took out a pair of handcuffs and reached for the suspect's wrist. The man pulled a knife from his breast pocket and swung it right at Kano's face. Kano managed to jerk away in time, but his momentum carried him too far backward and he sprawled onto the pavement.
Damn!
The suspect was already making a run for it. Suddenly, a large car of foreign make skidded to a halt, blocking off the man's escape route. A tall Caucasian man jumped out. He wore sunglasses and a crisp suit. Now cornered, the fleeing suspect brandished his knife.
You can't...
But Kano didn't even have time to finish shouting his warning. There was a metallic pwing, and the knife went flying to the air. The man in the sunglasses had snapped his right foot off, sending the weapon flying. As the attacker's jaw dropped in astonishment, the newcomer proceeded to elbow him right in the face. The blow connected and the suspect went down hard.
Nolan.
Ow.
The fallen man turned his head to look at Kano. His mouth moved as he was attempting to say something. Never got it out. The man in the sunglasses kicked him in the face. With a groan, the perp slumped down, unconscious.
Hey!
Kano snapped.
What the hell are you doing?
He stormed over to the man with sunglasses. The man nonchalantly dusted off his suit.
Panda.
You were to watch see where this guy's went, right?
He spoke in fluent Japanese.
What happened to that Japanese sense of honor I've heard so much about?
Who are you?
I'm from the U.S. Embassy's Regional Security Office.
The man replied. He presented Kano with his ID. Jack Stanley. His title was listed as Security Assistance Officer. Kano glanced at the car he'd shown up in. The license plate was blue with white lettering.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs?
But the ministry wouldn't just send some diplomat to intervene in a police investigation. Kano pulled his phone out of his pocket. Sasayama's name was displayed across the LCD screen.
How are things on your end, Kano?
Now the suspect in custody. How about you?
Sasayama hesitated.
He got away from me.
What about the Tachi case?
I'm sorry. But he's still gotta be around here somewhere. I'm gonna look around some more.
Sasayama hung up.
What's your name, detective?
Jack Stanley asked as Kano was processing this new information.
Kano from the Shibuya precinct.
Alright, Kano. I'm gonna need you to follow my instructions for the next while.
Why is that?
Instead of answering, Stanley took out his cell phone and made a quick call. After a few moments, he held the phone out for Kano.
Here, permission from your boss.
He said.
What?
Kano squawked. He took the phone gingerly, bracing himself.
Kano speaking.
You imbecile! What the hell are you thinking?
It was Kuze, and he was furious. Understandably so, really. Kano had disobeyed a direct order, and for what? All he'd accomplished was losing track of the attaché case.
I'm sorry, sir.
You really think sorry is gonna cut it? You're off the force, Kano.
Kano slumped, defeated. He had no reply. He knew he deserved whatever punishment he got. Still, orders from up top didn't trump the hostage's safety. If he could have gone back and done it all again, he was sure he'd make the same call. Maybe that meant he wasn't detective material, but so be it.
That's what I want to tell you.
Kuze continued.
For now, I need you to follow the instructions of the guy there, Stanley. Do whatever he tells you.
Sir?
Kano hadn't seen that one coming. He'd disobeyed orders, that was undeniable. And yes, he knew he deserved a reprimand. But being ordered to tag along with some stranger who just turned up out of the blue? What the heck?
May I ask why the US Embassy is involved with this?
No more questions, Kano. Step in line.
Please, just hold on. Sir, I had no idea what's going on here.
Kuze let out an exasperated sigh.
That makes two of us, kid.
And with that, the director hung up. It sounded like even Kuze didn't have the whole story here. Which meant that orders were coming from someplace higher. A foreign syndicate moving the ransom around. The US Embassy. Whatever was going on, it was more than just a local kidnapping case, and Kano was deep in the middle of it. He handed the phone back to Stanley. A few moments later, two detectives from the MPD arrived on the scene. Stanley handed over the fallen criminal to them.
You're chasing a bum lead, you know.
Stanley said as he watched them carry the man away.
What do you mean?
Kano asked.
I mean, this kidnapping is about the money.
My priority is the girl's safety.
Right now, your priority is doing what I tell you to do.
Kano gave him a scowl, but Stanley ignored it.
The guy we just, arrested.
He asked.
He tell you anything? Oh.
What? Too late now, you do.
Yeah, you start over.
Okay. The guy we just, arrested.
Yeah.
He tell you anything?
No, nothing.
Kano said.
Really now?
All trace of emotion drained from Stanley's eyes. His gaze pierced Kano like icy daggers. It held a glimmer of something dangerous. Something Kano had seen plenty of times since he'd joined the Force. He wasn't looking into the eyes of some diplomatic liaison. No. This was a man who knew how to kill, who'd killed people before. With some effort, Kano managed to regather his sense of professionalism.
He didn't tell me anything.
He repeated.
I just know that he's a member of some foreign crime syndicate that works out of Shibuya. I probably know some of their hangouts.
Show me.
Stanley said, cool as an automaton.
We'll take my car.
Kano wiped away some of the sweat that had beaded on his brow as they headed for the vehicle. He was just sliding to the passenger seat when Kuze radioed over the wireless.
Okie dokie, folks. Listen up.
The childish tone was back in his voice, full force. Kano stiffened on reflex. He knew what that meant.
So, Hitomi Osawa has, gone missing.
What?
Kano couldn't believe his ears. Wasn't Tateno supposed to be protecting her right now?
Also, Detective Tateno hasn't radioed in. And, we can't reach him from our end either.
No way.
Kano blurted out.
It can't be.
So, yeah.
Kuze continued.
He might got caught up in this incident too.
It wasn't like a detective of Tateno's stature to go incommunicado during an investigation. It could only mean that something had happened to him. Something major.
Bottles of burning hammer litter the pavement, shattered into tiny bits of glass. Even if the recycling guy was really careless with the boxes, it shouldn't have caused this much of a mess. It looks like someone came along and actually threw them all over the place. The heck with this thing! I toss away the miracle stone, which has clearly brought me only bad luck. We can't have a product demo without a product. Which in turn means I won't be getting paid for this whole fiasco. Okay. We can do this. We can figure something out. I try to give myself a pep talk, but I hear the doubt in my own voice. I try to brainstorm anyway. Finding inspiration is like trying to squeeze blood from a stone. I rack my mind for the best course of action, and at long last, I arrive at a conclusion. To find some burning hammer, eh? Somehow or another, I'm going to have to sell some burning hammer. The flyers have already been handed out. People have come to the demo expecting to get burning hammer. I may have to put in some new bottles, and possibly you water it down some. But getting this stuff sold is my only option. My eyes alight on one of the cardboard boxes, and I notice an odd mark that's stamped on it. Wait a sec. I've seen this before. I recall something Chiri said earlier.
This is the sort of thing they'd sell in 100 yen shops or something.
The mark on the box is the same one I saw at the shop that's selling the necklace. That's it! I can see if there's more at the knick-knack shop. Guided by this ray of hope, I head for the knick-knack shop as fast as I can run. As soon as I reach the main road, I crash right into someone. It's Chiri.
Jules, do cheer today.
Oh, hey. You find it?
She asks. She makes it sound like it's not really her problem. Not yet, but I think we can stock up at the 100 yen shop. The words are hard to get out when I'm panting as hard as I am. For now, just stay calm and go let the boss know.
I think that was my line. The top one.
I don't think so.
I thought it was the... Whatever. Got it. Leave it to me.
Chiri nods, and I break back into a run. I'm practically praying as I rush into the knick-knack shop, where I immediately spot the cardboard boxes I saw earlier, still stacked up. Yes! I'm in luck! I dive into one of the boxes to check what's inside. It's packed with tiny bottles. There's no mistaking the noxious red liquid inside. That's burning hammer, all right. There's 50 bottles per box. And there are 4 boxes total. Assuming each bottle is 100 yen, including tax, I can buy the whole lot with the 20,000 I've got in my wallet. Mr. Yanagishita said he was selling the bottles at the demo for 15,000 yen apiece. That way, if we sell all 200 bottles, he'll be able to pay back his debts no problem.
Whoa, what's the deal with you?
Oh, Panda.
The sales clerk's eyes go wide when he sees my getup. This stuff! I'd like your entire stock! I point at the burning hammer and the clerk makes an awkward face.
I'm afraid that's already been sold.
What? You mean like all of it? Nobody in their right mind could possibly want all of this.
Yes, all of it, I'm afraid.
Well, I'm not going to roll over that easily. Whether I earn the extra 20,000 or not hinges on whether I can get this stuff. Please, you've got to help me out.
I'm afraid it's out of my hands.
Then could you get in touch with the buyer? Tell them I'm willing to negotiate.
I suppose that wouldn't be an issue, but... Actually, would you mind waiting for just a moment? She said she should be by ASAP.
After 5 minutes of waiting, the buyer still hasn't shown up. I don't think she's coming, I say.
That's odd.
The sales clerk murmurs.
She said on the phone she'd come by just after 1 o'clock to pick him up.
I really need this right away.
I understand that, but...
Please!
It's out of my hands.
By now, the sales demo has already started. If I come back empty-handed, what was the point of all this effort? Gimme.
I've already said I can't do that.
Gimme!
Would you please wait would you please wait a moment?
Why did I spend all that time trying to hand out samples? Why did I put this stupid costume on? Why did I miss out on lunch? Why? What was it all for? Look over there! It's the chupacabra!
Huh?
Yoink. Seizing the moment, I snatch up the boxes of burning hammer and I make a run for it.
Hey, hold it right there, miss.
The sales clerk is quick to bar my path. I barrel my way right past him. I bump him harder than intended as I race by. He loses his balance and goes crashing through the display case at the front of his shop. At the same time, I hear something else topple over, with a thud and a gurgle. Some sort of liquid begins to gush from a red polyethylene container.
Uh-oh.
The sales clerk's eyes go wide, his stare fixed on something on the sidewalk nearby. It's a cigarette.
Oh, God. What have you done?
I can't even read it.
Yeah.
And now for today's news. Shortly after 1 o'clock this afternoon, there was an explosion at a variety store in Yugagawacho in Shibuya. The cause of which remains unknown. Eyewitnesses report seeing an individual wearing a full-body cat costume fleeing the scene in the aftermath of the explosion. Please consider this individual a person of interest, and I ruled out that the possibility that this bombing was a terrorist act. Several hours after the incident, the cat remains at large.
I'd be sick if this was a good ending.
You're evil.
Don't you hate it when you accidentally become a terrorist?
And a murderer.
Oh, that's not good.
The man with the cane crooked his finger on the trigger. Achi stepped in front of Hitomi, shielding her with his body.
If you want to shoot her, you have to shoot me too.
Suddenly, the assassin's head jerked forward. He pitched face first onto the pavement and lay still, revealing a foreign man standing behind him. In one hand, the stranger clutched a metal pipe.
Hitomi,
Achi asked.
you know that guy?
Hitomi's eyes went wide.
That's the man from the scramble. The Shibuya Scramble. The one who told me to go to the van.
Wait, one of the kidnappers? Why would he help us?
I'm not sure.
The newcomer fixed his eyes on Achi.
Hey, man.
Achi approached the stranger.
I'm not sure what's going on here, but thanks for the assist. Whoa.
The man took a sudden swing with his pipe. Achi barely managed to dodge out of the way.
What the hell?
Once again, Achi made sure Hitomi was safely behind him.
Guess I gotta let my fist do the talking.
Achi quickly adopted a fighting stance.
Be careful, Hitomi.
Be careful.
Hitomi warned, her voice trembling.
Don't worry, it's just a pipe. I will snatch it away from him and make him tell us where your sister is.
Achi judged the distance between them carefully as he stared his opponent down. The metal pipe gave this thug considerable reach. One solid hit from that thing and Achi wouldn't stand a chance. He needed to end this in one punch. Brooke sized him up for a few moments and lunged forward to attack.
Now.
Achi sidestepped to avoid the incoming blow, then delivered a vicious left hook to his adversary's jaw. The man went down hard. Achi gazed at his fallen foe, flexing his knuckles.
The thing about guys who bring weapons to a fight is that they always let themselves get too cocky.
He looked the guy over. The man had a tattoo peeking from one of his ratty sleeves.
Come on, buddy, you can't just clock out yet.
Achi said.
Get up. I have a few questions to ask you.
He knelt down to grab the man by his collar. Halfway to his feet, the man pulled a gun from his breast pocket.
Whoa. Didn't know you were packing heat.
Achi took a quick step backward. The man's eyes brimmed with rage. He looked ready to pull the trigger at any moment. But he didn't get the chance. The man with the cane had regained consciousness. Back on his feet, he trained his own gun on the foreigner. The foreigner quickly shifted his attention to the other gunman.
Oh no, you don't.
Achi darted forward and kicked the kidnapper in the hand as hard as he could. The gun went flying from his grasp. With a low snarl, the man took up the metal pipe again. Rather than go for Achi, however, he charged the man with the cane. Achi watched in astonishment as the two men grappled.
Now's our chance.
Grabbing Hitomi by the hand, Achi broke into a run. They ran for a long time, finally stopping to rest in a quiet municipal park. As they sat catching their breath, Achi sensed a new tension in Hitomi. She hadn't said a word since their latest escape.
She has to die, Achi. It's for you.
In his mind, Achi replayed what the man with the cane had said.
So, Hitomi.
Achi hesitated.
About what happened back there.
Yeah?
She sounded like she'd been far gone in her own thoughts.
You gotta believe me. I have no idea who that guy was. I've never even seen him in my life. Must have been saying that stuff to confuse us, to trip us up.
Yeah?
Hitomi said again.
Is that what's been bothering you?
Huh? Oh. Is that what's been bothering you?
Huh?
Now it was Achi's turn to go monosyllabic.
Well, Achi, you're kind of famous around Shibuya, right?
I don't know about that.
Way back when, he'd been the leader of SOS. Nowadays, he was just some guy who picked up trash. That was nothing to brag about.
When someone's famous, it's not unusual for someone else to recognize them and know their name. So, yeah, I was surprised back there, but no matter what that man may have said, I trust you. I mean, look at how many times you've put yourself in danger to protect me.
Hitomi sounded pretty resolute. Achi was glad that she believed him, but that raised another question.
So, then how come you've become so quiet?
I've just been thinking about things. Like what that man from the Scramble might be after.
It was true that his actions didn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, he seemed more interested in taking out the man with the cane than going after you. Maybe there's bad blood between them.
Achi let out a little chuckle.
If we're lucky, maybe they'll take each other out for us.
I felt a rush of relief, reassured that Hitomi didn't doubt his motives.
Regardless, though, we have to track down that blue van.
The sound of a child's cry came from behind them. Turning to look, they saw the kidnapper rushing toward them. He had knocked over a little girl who was in his way.
Oh, that's for the way.
Achi sighed. Yet again, he and Hitomi sprinted away.
Do you think he took out the guy with the cane?
Hitomi's words came between panting huffs.
Maybe.
Achi glanced back at their pursuer.
I'm sorry, one second.
It's fine.
What?
There was someone else with him. Now they were being chased down by two foreigners.
I like this better when it's just. I like this better when we were just running from back the cave.
In a one-on-one fight, Achi was confident he could keep Hitomi safe. One-on-two, though, that was a different story. One guy might get a hold of her while he was facing off against the other. He had to make sure they lost these creeps, no matter what.